Hi, and welcome to part 3 of my drum gear and my studio gear tour. In this part, I'm going to talk about many things. My drumsticks, my drum pedals, my drum microphones, my audio interface, my drum bags, my lights, and pretty much everything else I use in order to record and shoot videos. So here we go. First, my drumsticks. These are my drumsticks. They are made by a company called Stick, and they are an excellent pair of drumsticks. They are custom made to my specifications. They are a modified 5A stick. They are a little bit thicker overall, and they have a nylon tip, so that you know the black nylon tip doesn't leave any marks on my drums or my cymbals. And the special thing about them is that they are natural finish. They don't have anything on them, and this is because my hands are getting very sweaty when I play drums, especially in the summer. And back in the day when I used to use other brands of drumsticks, they always fall from my hands, and this was a real pain for me. So back in the day, in order to solve this problem, I wore drum gloves. These are the Tama drum gloves. They are great, but I'm not very comfortable wearing them when I play. I use them when I pack my cymbals, when I go to a live gig, so that I don't leave any fingerprints on the cymbals. So now, let's continue with my drum pedals. I use Axis Longboard pedals for a very long time. I bought my first double pedal back in 2001. It was the Axis X series double pedal. Immediately I fell in love with it. It was something new, for sure, but it was a great pedal, and since 2001 I play with the Axis drum pedals. Back in 2006 I upgraded them with the Longboard version. I bought separately the part and screw it, because in all Axis pedals you can buy parts and unscrew the old one and screw the new one. And when I played the Longboard version, it was fantastic. This is what I have to say. And back in 2017 my right pedal broke down, so I had to purchase a new one, and the new one is the one with the microtune system. The microtune system is the system with the spring, it is very sensitive, and you can use the drum key and screw or unscrew the screw that is attached to the spring and fine-tune your tension. And a little trick, I have 3 springs on my double pedal because it makes the slave pedal feel like no slave pedal. This is the reason why. And it has a very little tension, the 3rd spring. Now let's move on to my hi-hat stand. The hi-hat stand is also an Axis. It was the X series as well. It is a very lightweight hi-hat stand, and I upgraded the footboard with the Longboard as well, so that matches the double pedal. It is with me since 2001 and is going still strong, and it's very sensitive. I also use the Tama first chair drum throne. This is the round seat, and it is an amazing seat. It is very comfortable, and I can sit on it for many hours without having any problems. Now, let's move to some accessories I use. I use the big Fat Snare when I want to record the big fat backbeat, as you know, and I'm very happy with it. Now, let's move on to my drum bags. I use these ahead armor cases. They are not cases, they're bags, but they hold my drums really well, and I can transport them very easily. They have super heavy duty zippers, and I'm very happy with them. I also use the old Tama double pedal bag. This bag, I bought this bag back in 2007, I believe, and it is still going strong. For my cymbals, I use the Paiste professional bag. This is the 22-inch version. It is an excellent case because it has the shoulder strap and the backpack straps. If you carry many cymbals, you know they are pretty heavy, so the backpack straps are an excellent add-on. For my snares, I also use the armor cases that I showed you before. Now, I should also mention that I use the Latin percussion Rock Ridge Rider cowbell. This is the standard rock cowbell with the red plastic thing attached to it, so that it removes some overtones from the cowbell. And now let's talk about microphones. I used to use the Samson microphone set when I first started recording myself, and it served me well. But when it was time to upgrade, I choose for my drums the Audix microphones. So on my snare, I use the Audix i5. On my first rack tom, I use the Audix D2. The first floor tom is the Audix D4, and the second floor tom is also the Audix D4. For my kick, I use the Audix D6. And for my overheads and my hi-hat microphone, I use the Lewitt. You know, Lewitt is one of the greatest microphone companies. You should check them out. They make amazing microphones, and they are ahead of the game. If you check them, you will see why I said that. And for my overhead, I use the LCT 040 matched pair, and also the same microphone for my hi-hat, the LCT 040. And they are very crisp, they are very detailed microphones, and I'm extremely happy with the results I get when I record myself here in my studio, and for the video productions and the recordings of songs for artists and bands that I work with. Now, another thing I use is the Behringer Micro Amp HA400. This is the headphone amp that I use to hear the music, and the earphones I use are the TRN V8s. They are excellent in-ear monitors, and I use them for a very long time, and I had never had any problems with them. Now, let's move on. Another microphone that I forget is the Samson C01. This is a microphone I use for a room mic. You cannot see it here in my drums because it is somewhere in this room. That's why it's a room mic. It's a great mic. It's a very affordable mic, and it does the job well. That's all I have to say about it. Now, let's talk about my audio interface. I used to use the PreSonus Audio Box VDSL 18 something. It was the first audio interface I purchased, and it was great. It served me well. I had never had any problems with it. But it was time to upgrade, and I choose the Focusrite Scarlett 18920. This audio interface has excellent microphone preamps, and together with my, I believe, great sound from the acoustic instrument here and the microphones, the results I get are extremely well. It has 8 preamps, and in order to have use of all my microphones, I use an extension which is the Behringer ADA 8200, which is an ADA preamp with 8 more preamps. It has an excellent sound too, and it's more than enough. So in total I have 16 channels to record. For studio monitors, I have the Samson ResolvSE. They are 8-inch monitors, and they have a pretty flat response, and I'm happy with them. Also, to record everything, I use a PC, a very good PC with lots of parts, graphics cards, CPUs. And to watch what I do, I use an LG monitor and a 24-inch monitor. And when I do my live streamings, I have an old Samsung monitor here, which allows me to see what's happening. I don't need anything fancy. This will do the work fine. And I use 2 soft boxes for lights and some other lights here to light the environment I record. And behind me there are some stage lights with some colors to them in the background. And now let's talk about the cameras. The cameras I use are 3 GoPro Hero 5 Black. They have a great image quality, and I'm totally happy with them. And I also use an SJ4000 for my feed camera when I do my live streamings. So, I think that covers everything I use here, and that's the end of part 3 of my drum and studio gear. See you next time, and thank you!